Hello, everyone. It's Jay with Guilty of Crime. I'm back. I can't help it but to cover this Adam Montgomery trial, much as I wasn't going to. I'm busy all day. I just can't. I can't not. This is just hits. It hits close when you have kids and you hear this stuff. You're listening to it. You catch parts and you want to cover it, especially when you're a content creator and you're listening to this stuff all day. You want to share it with your followers. I do, because I know many of you out there probably had to work today like I did. So I worked today and I caught the trial a bit. And as I was catching it, I thought, man, there's going to be a lot of people out here that are also working. Even after Super Bowl Sunday, there wasn't a lot of people out on the road, but I know that the people that were working didn't get to catch day 4. And I have to tell you, it's quite a bit of a contrast from day 3. Now, I say that because I focus on, well, first, justice for harmony. Now, justice for harmony to me looks like convicting Adam Montgomery because it's his trial. Now, Kayla Montgomery made a deal with the state. Her deal with the state was, as long as she doesn't say anything on the stand to further incriminate the evidence that she's given to them, she won't be charged with anything else. So, in day 4, she says, I don't even know, countless times. I can try to count this while we're listening, but I'll probably fill up an entire document with how many times she says, I don't remember or I don't know. Now, I'm going to play a clip really quickly from where I left off on day 3, where she's being questioned on direct by the state. Now, keep in mind, the state made a deal with her. She got 18 months, and the 18 months was for testifying against Adam Montgomery in his trial, and she got charges of perjury. So it was a real light sentence. It was 18 months. She's got a year left, and she got really light charges. Now, when she's testifying on direct, not cross is today, day 4, when she's I got my garbage pail kid shirt, when she's doing it on, when she's on trial, sorry, my words, on direct, when she's testifying on direct, she tells the truth. That's what her truth is. She constantly talks, she answers questions, she acts like she's sad, she cries, she plays it up. Then she has a headache at the end of the day, and it stops. Now, I'm going to play a quick clip of her on day 3. And I want to do that because I want you to see her demeanor on day 3 and then see her demeanor on day 4. Now, I'm going to put it out there because I always have an opinion, and I have strong opinions about things. And on day 4, she was evasive, she was rude, she was condescending, she was defensive, and on and on and on. On day 3, my opinion of her was a little bit on the side of, okay, maybe she just didn't tell anybody about Harmony. Maybe she was scared of Adam. Maybe, I gave her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was remorseful. Maybe a lot of things. Just the benefit of the doubt. And then I watched day 4, and it was the complete opposite. I'm going to show you. Now, one thing that stuck out to me was when she talks about tools, and she says, I told Adam not to use my mom's tool. I don't think he had it. I specifically told him not to use her tool. Like, who was running the show here? I thought you were scared of Adam. I thought Kayla was scared of Adam. I thought he beat her up and abused her. So as much as I don't think that, I think that and you could give me your opinion. I don't think that the cross examination is really helping Adam much, but it's making her look bad. I guess it's taking eyes off of Adam, especially since he's not there. Maybe that's a strategy. Maybe he's not there because the eyes aren't on him. When she's testifying, they're on her, and it makes her look really bad. So let's watch day 3, quick clip of her demeanor, and then we're going to go to day 4, and it's like just night and day. Check this out. All right.
For women's in Concord, New Hampshire.
How long have you been there?
For over a year.
She almost has a smile.
Kayla, why are you currently incarcerated?
For perjury, for lying on to the jury about the whereabouts of where I was and where Harmony was.
And when you say lying to the jury, was that the grand jury?
Yes.
Did you also lie to the police?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?
Because I was scared, and I was told by Adam to stick with that story, that I got dropped off at work at Dunkin' Donuts, where I no longer worked at that time, and to say that he was bringing Harmony to meet her mother, Crystal, and that he dropped her off with her. And then when he came pick me up from work, which I was not.
Did she live there with you at any point?
Yes, when we were staying there in the beginning, she lived there.
And in the beginning, who else lived there with you?
Adam's uncle, Kevin Montgomery, Adam's brother, Michael Montgomery.
I wanted to put a side by side, but I can't really play it at the same time. So do you see her demeanor? Do you see how she's almost crying? And she's going to cry soon. I'll fast forward to that just so I can finish off with her crying because she's so remorseful and sad. And then we'll go to day 4. You can see a night and day, 100% difference. And let me remind you, this is her from the state. These are the people that she got a deal from. Okay, so she's very soft-spoken and almost sweet, and she's got remorse and she's crying because she's so sad. And then listen to this one when she gets cross-examined. It's bad.
And his remember.
What did you do after he put her in the duffel bag?
We took the kids and we walked back to Colonial Village.
What did you do once you arrived at Colonial Village?
Put the bag
the wires there. All right, if everyone's ready, please rise for the jurors.
You can already see her sour face. You already can tell she's defensive. Now, I'm giving you a pre-warning, but if you were watching this by yourself, just raw testimony or cross-examination,
to you with any sort of cooperation agreement.
Right.
Okay. Now, you knew in going to talk to them that they wanted information about Harmony being missing, right?
Yes.
Whether or not she was alive,
Yes.
when she went missing,
Yes.
under what circumstances she went missing.
Yes.
And these are things that you had been thinking about since the time of your arrest, right?
Yes.
And when you first told the lie to the police and to the grand jury that the last time you saw Harmony, she was driving away with Adam to be taken to her mother, follow-up showed that not to be true, and you knew it, right?
Yes.
And one of the ways that you knew it, other than what you had lived through, but you knew they had found it not to be true, was that you had seen and heard Crystal Sorey talking on the news about her missing child, right?
I didn't see that right when they were questioning me.
Okay. It had been going on for a little bit, though, right?
Yes.
And also, while you were in your jail cell, you got what's called discovery, right?
Yes.
And that is police reports and searches and the results of all that stuff that is sent to you as a part of you being charged for a crime, right?
Yes.
And that discovery included the investigation into Harmony being missing.
Yes.
And it included the charge of the reports and stuff on the charge of second-degree assault against Adam.
Yes.
And so you knew what people had said to the police and stuff about that second-degree assault charge.
Yes.
And you also knew that the charge was for Adam striking Harmony in the face.
Yes.
And you knew that there was a claim of black eyes from that, right?
Yes.
And when you told the police your story of what happened to Harmony, the allegation that you had was striking her in the face, right?
Yes.
And you included a story of black eyes.
Yes.
All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is the timeline of your accusations against Adam. So on June 3rd, you met with the police for a pretty long time, right?
Yes.
And it was the meeting that you had was audio and video recorded.
Yes.
And your lawyer was present.
Yes.
And the police were generally the ones asking questions.
Yes.
but there was somebody from the Attorney General's office who was also present.
Yes.
And then after that interview, and it was fairly long, right?
Yes.
There was a break in between, but between the two of them, it was really long.
Yes.
And then you got booked for the perjury charges.
Yes.
And during booking, you said something to Detective Dunleavy about Portland pie,
Yes.
and that Adam had taken the body to Portland pie from the freezer and then returned it to Union Street later.
Yes.
It's coming. She looks like she's fallen asleep already.
The plea agreement, well, then you talked again on the June 23rd.
Yes.
And on June 23rd, that was also audio and video recorded.
Yes.
And about the same amount of people were there,
Yes.
and generally the same people.
Yes.
And after that, you did reach your deal, right?
Yes.
But, and you were out for the interview on June 23rd. You were back out on bail, right?
Yes.
And then, as we talked about, sometime in September, you got arrested and reincarcerated.
Yes.
And then sometime after that, you and your attorney reached, well, you got an agreement with the state.
Yes.
And under that agreement, you could serve a minimum of 2 years.
I don't remember.
I think you testified on direct that you got a 3.5 to 7 suspended and a 3.5 to 7 to serve, but you could get out. You could get 1.5 years suspended off of that, right?
Yes.
So that would be a minimum of 2 years.
Yes.
And you also got credit for the time that you had put in while on bail.
Yes.
And so your parole hearing comes up in a month or two?
May.
May? Okay.
Oh, she knows that.
Now,
What do you
after
know?
you reached the agreement, you pled to that agreement in November of
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
This
and
is
then-
recurring.
In March of 2023, you had another meeting with the same group of people.
Yes.
And where was that meeting?
At the Attorney General's office in Concord.
And you were housed in the New Hampshire State Prison for Women at that time, right?
Yes.
And you were transported from the prison to the Attorney General's office to talk to him.
Yes.
And that interview was also recorded and video recorded.
Yes.
And generally the police were asking the questions,
Yes.
and the prosecutor from the state might ask a few,
Yes.
but he was there for the whole thing watching.
Yes.
And then, so that was March of 2023. And then this December of 2023, you met with the state again, right?
Yes.
And was that the same sort of thing where you were transported from the prison to the Attorney General's office?
No.
Where was that meeting?
At the Women's State Prison.
Okay. And who was present for that?
Myself and Chris and my lawyer and Amy.
And Amy's somebody who works with the Attorney General's office?
Yes, she's an advocate.
Okay. And there you were not recorded, right?
No.
And that meeting was also a long meeting?
Yes.
reviewing things that you had said before,
Yes.
reviewing what your testimony would be at trial,
Yes.
questioning some things that you had to say.
Yes.
And I think I said it, but it was not recorded.
Right.
And then you met with them again in January.
Yes.
Same sort of situation.
Yes.
And that was around January 10.
Yes.
And was that about as long?
Yeah.
Going through all the stuff that you'd said before,
Yes.
questioning you on the stuff that you had.
Okay, just gotta stop here for a minute and talk a little. Otherwise, I'm just playing the cross-examination for you, and I have stuff to say. So it's coming where she starts to get really uncooperative, and I don't know. I don't remember. I think she thought it was going to be easy, like her direct. So she started out kind of looking like she had an attitude. Like the first day, she looked kind of smug on on day 3, and she kind of eased into it and then cried. But I think she's not ready for some of these questions especially when it gets really specific. She doesn't want to incriminate herself. Keep this in mind. If she incriminates herself in any way, she could be charged further. And she doesn't want to do longer than 2 years or 18 months, which I think she might be lucky she's in prison right now, because there's a lot of people I'm seeing online that, when kids get hurt, people don't look at you very nicely. So I don't know how that's going to go down when she gets out, if people are going to want to hurt her, kill her, whatever. I'm really surprised, and I'd like to know what her situation is in prison right now. Is she in protective custody? Is she in general pop? Is she what? Maybe I can do a little research, or if somebody knows, but I'd like to know why nobody's hurting her in there now. I have no idea what her situation is. So she is the state's witness, so I'm imagining they're keeping her protected right now and probably giving her extra things she wants. I'm not too fond of deals like that, but we wouldn't know about Harmony. We wouldn't know about her last moments or what happened to her if it wasn't for Kayla. And I hate to give Kayla any credit for anything. Trust me. So here she goes. I'm going to play it. I'm going to keep playing it, and you'll hear her slowly start to say, I don't know, I don't remember. And then even more so, she gets an attitude, and she's just really disrespectful. That's how it comes off to me. Maybe something different to you. Let me know.
Had said before.
Yes.
And getting ready to testify here.
Yes.
And then January 19, you met with them again?
January what?
19?
Yes.
And same situation?
Yes.
So that you're going over what you'd said before,
Yes.
going over what you're going to say to the jury.
Yes.
And there might be some questions about what you said before. And so you kind of go back through it and work through that.
Yes.
And that was that it as far as meetings?
Yes.
Okay. And during all that time, you had plenty of time to review in your mind your memories and talk about things that you had said.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about some of the things that you've said to the jury and before the jury trial, okay?
Yes.
So you talked about after your eviction, which was November 27,
Yes.
you lived in your car for about 2 weeks.
Yes. A few weeks.
From November 27 to the day it broke down on December 7.
Yes.
Little under 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. And as you're evicted, you take some items with you,
Yes.
take some clothing for the kids.
Yes.
You take the toothbrush for Harmony.
Yes.
Make sure she can brush her teeth while she's in the car.
Yes. We all had toothbrushes.
Huh?
We all had toothbrushes.
Okay, so Declan and Seamus also were brushing their teeth.
Well, they had baby toothbrushes.
Okay. And so you made sure that you packed those things that the kids need for their hygiene
Yes.
and some clothes for each of them,
Yes.
in addition to what they were wearing.
Yes.
And then you probably got some extra bibs and stuff for when you're feeding Declan,
Yes.
and diapers
Yes.
and food.
Yes.
Okay. And extra underpants for Harmony.
I don't remember.
Okay. You had outerwear for the kids,
Yes.
coats and shoes,
Yes.
Look at that face.
and socks.
Yes.
And the next day was Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And do you recall where you stayed on Thanksgiving?
No. I don't remember.
You didn't celebrate a Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day, right?
No.
Okay. And the day after Thanksgiving, you went to your mom's house.
Yes.
And you went the day after Thanksgiving to see if she could put you up.
Yes.
And she wasn't able to.
No.
But you were there at her house for a while.
Yes.
And you used that time to clean up the kids
Yes.
because they had been in the car the night before.
Yes.
And to clean them up a lot better than just wiping the boys when you changed their diapers, right?
Yes.
And brushing their teeth
Yes.
and changing their clothes.
Yes.
Did you use her laundry while you were there?
I don't remember.
Okay. And your mom took that time to get to know her grandchildren,
Yes.
including Harmony.
Yes.
And she couldn't put you up, so you had to leave.
Yes.
And you stayed in the car that night.
Yes.
And then that was, by the way, November 29, the day after Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
And that's the same day that you had a car accident, right?
The 29th. Yes.
Okay. And that was a car accident with Tabitha Scott in the front seat, you in the back seat with the kids,
Yes.
and Adam driving.
Yes.
Sorry.
I'm not sure how this is helping Adam, other than I think she's trying to build a rapport with Kayla, like maybe like she's her friend, like she's state, maybe trying to pretend like she's the state and kind of ease her into it. But you can tell Kayla's not falling for that. And if you look at her face while she's testifying, she's actually getting an attitude. She's looking like, what is this? What are you talking about? Why are you asking me this? You can see the face, and it will start to match when she loses her patience with that lady. You can see her, I don't remember, I don't know. But yeah, it's progressively getting like that. And I just don't see this helping Adam right now. And even in the upcoming hour, other than them trying to get the eyes off of him not being in court, and the jury looking at her. Another thing to keep in mind while you're listening to this is when the defense is questioning her about her kids, she has this soft demeanor. Yes, and yes, I did this. And then they ask about Harmony, and I don't know. I don't think so. I don't remember. I didn't do that. Like when she says Harmony's name, it just bothers her. Like, it's just a different story. Listen to this. It's going to be a while. So listen to it and just relax.
Sorry. And police came after the accident,
Yes.
and you had Declan in a car seat,
Yes.
Seamus was in some sort of,
He was in a car seat.
okay. And Harmony was not.
No.
You did not have a car seat for Harmony, right?
Right.
And you were in the back, so she wasn't in a seatbelt either, right?
No.
And that was a problem when the police officer came, right?
Yes.
And blanket was thrown over Harmony and she was told to hide so that the police officer wouldn't know that you had too many kids in the car that were, and one was unrestrained.
No.
Okay. You were hiding the fact that you did not have Harmony restrained in the back seat at the time of the accident.
Yes.
And then Adam had his license at that time, right?
I don't remember if he lost it then or not.
Okay. Well, he was able to drive away from there after the police officer talked to you all, right?
Yes.
So he probably had his license, right?
Probably yes.
Okay. And Tabitha Scott, your friend that was in the car at the time of the accident, she was a friend, right?
Yes.
And she really liked Harmony, right?
Yes.
She would play with Harmony, right?
Yes.
And sometimes play dress up and stuff like that with her, right?
No, but okay. I don't remember
Look at that
happening.
attitude.
Okay. Remember taking photographs and like photoshopping them to put stuff on them and stuff like that in
Yes.
photographs? Okay. And Tabitha was somebody that you would have babysit the kids sometimes.
Yes.
And sometimes it would just be Harmony and you would take the two boys with you, or sometimes she might do all three.
Yes.
And your accident on the 29th, do you recall that being in the afternoon?
I don't remember.
Okay. And do you recall if you went to your mom's before or after that?
I think I went to my mom's later that night.
Okay. And Harmony did not have black eyes when you went to your mom's,
No.
right? So she did not have black eyes when she was in that accident, right?
No.
Pardon?
No.
Okay. Now,
She's like, come on, lady.
December
Ask what you're going to ask.
1st. Well, that was an accident on the 29th. And you made up a lie about November 30th. What did you actually do on November 30th?
I don't remember.
Okay. How about December 1? Do you know what you did that day?
No.
Do you know where you stayed?
In the car?
Do you know where the car was?
No.
Was it at Colonial Village?
I remember that's where we would normally park and sleep in the car.
Okay. You said that Anthony Bodero, and am I pronouncing that right? Bodero?
Yes.
Okay. That he would come down to the car while you were in the parking lot.
Yes.
And I think that you said that he would give you drugs.
Yes.
And that he would see Harmony during that less than 2 week period that you were in the car.
Yes.
And that he would come down, she would wave to him.
Yes.
And he would wave back.
Yes.
And Harmony was not under cover when she would wave to Anthony Bordero.
No.
And she was not hidden from public view or Anthony Bordero's view when he would come down in the morning.
No.
And I think that you said that he might come, maybe not every day, but pretty frequently.
Yes.
And he also brought you some Thanksgiving giving leftovers.
Yes.
And when he did that, he saw Harmony.
Yes.
Now, there was another accident on December 2nd. Do you remember that?
No.
Do you remember that you had another accident outside of the clinic after the accident on November 29?
Yes.
And that was what, during a time that you and Adam had been going to the clinic, right?
Yes.
And the kids were not with you at that time.
I don't remember if they were there or not.
Okay. So it is, and I think you said reviewing the accident report would not refresh your recollection? Or would it?
I don't remember.
If I gave you the accident report, do you think it might refresh your recollection?
I will try and remember.
I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm high right now. My eyes keep on closing. I don't remember. Oh, here comes the attorney. Here comes the defense.
I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4-page document, and I've actually highlighted the date on the first page just because there's so much information. But do you think if you review the accident report, it might refresh your recollection that your kids were not in the car?
I remember the accident, but I don't remember if the kids were in the car or not.
Okay.
Even looking at this, I don't remember. I just remember we were in an accident outside the clinic.
Okay. And I think we talked about that a little bit on Friday, that the police asked you about that as well
Yes.
during your interview, right?
Yes.
And that you said that maybe Tabitha or maybe your mom was babysitting the kids.
Yes.
So if you were in the accident and the kids were not with you, they would have been with somebody that you trusted to babysit them.
Yes.
Harmony would not have been hidden from whoever that babysitter was.
No.
Harmony would not have been hidden from public view.
No.
Harmony would not have been hidden under a blanket.
No.
Now, do you recall it snowing at all while you were staying at the Colonial Village parking lot?
I know that there was snow on and off.
Okay. There was actually a bit of a storm. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And that was when you were parked at Colonial Village.
Yes.
And did you go inside to the Bodero's residence during that storm?
I don't remember going in there.
Okay. Did you ever take the children into Mr. Bodero's residence to brush their teeth or to clean them up or anything like that?
I remember bringing the kids up to his apartment, but I don't remember when that was.
Okay. So let's talk about living in the car. You got a couple of boys that are quite young.
Yes.
One is about 11 months,
Yes.
and your other son was 2.5-ish.
Yes.
And they can only stay in the same position one time for a certain amount of time, right?
Right.
And then they start getting pretty rambunctious, right?
Yes.
And fussy.
Yes.
And Declan, if he gets fussy, will cry.
Yes.
And that'll make Seamus cry.
I don't remember that.
Okay. And Harmony also, maybe not as rambunctious, but would get pretty fussy about being in the car for a long time, right?
Yes.
And so you would try and find ways to entertain them.
Yes.
And one of the ways that you entertained them was to go to a public place like maybe the mall, just to get them walking around inside for a while.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
You remember losing your phone at the mall while you were walking, you and Adam were walking around with the kids?
No.
Okay. One of the ways that you would entertain them was to take them to places like Walmart when you were shopping for more food.
I don't remember going there.
Okay. What were the ways that you entertained them?
How
I
could you
don't
not
remember what we
remember how
did
you
with
entertain
them.
your kids?
I just remember living in the car.
Okay. But you didn't have the children in the car 24/7, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you play or take them to walk on those balance beams and stuff on that little play center at the back of the parking lot at Colonial?
I don't remember.
Okay. Let's talk about the food that you had. You would eat things like tortilla wraps,
Yeah, we had tortilla wraps.
bananas,
Yes.
peanut butter,
Yes.
apples,
I don't remember apples.
baby food,
Yes.
cereal,
Yes.
formula.
Yes.
And if you had cereal, you had milk.
I don't remember keeping milk in the car like that, but
Okay.
possibly.
So if you had baby cereal, Seamus would just eat it dry.
Yes.
And what was Seamus eating at that time? He was doing a mix of baby food and real food.
Yes.
Okay. And sometimes you'd feed him your food,
Yes.
little bits, right?
Yes.
And you'd have to make sure that he took it and put it in his mouth, right?
Yes.
Instead of dropping it on the car floor.
Yes.
And Declan had formula. Did he also
Baby food.
baby food?
Yes.
How about the cereal?
No.
So you would have to turn around and feed Declan in the back seat, or would you put him on your lap and feed him in the front seat?
I'd turn his car seat around so that he'd be facing that direction so I could feed him.
Okay. And diapers.
Yes.
So when Declan or Seamus would go to the bathroom in the car, they would be going
Yes.
to the bathroom in diapers, right?
Yes.
And Declan, his diapers didn't smell too much, right? Because he was still just a baby.
I don't remember.
Okay. But Seamus's diapers would smell, right?
Yes.
And so Seamus and Declan are both going to the bathroom in the car in their diapers,
Yes.
and you would change them where?
In the car.
And all the time?
If we were just living in our car, yes.
And then you would throw the diapers in the dumpster?
Yes.
And certainly in Colonial Village, you had a dumpster nearby.
Yes.
And then
I don't understand this questioning as much as she doesn't right now, though.
you would try to
Get on
clean
with
them
it,
up more
defense.
than just the wipes when you change their diapers, right?
Yes.
And that would be in public restrooms.
I don't remember going to public restrooms.
Where would you clean them more than just wipes?
I don't remember.
But you remember that you would.
I remember cleaning them with wipes. I don't remember bringing them to any like restroom or stuff like that. I don't remember that.
Okay. So you talked about going to your mother's on the 29th of November. Is that the last time that they got a thorough cleaning?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't do that to your kids, right?
I wouldn't, but if I was stuck in the situation I was stuck in, then yeah.
Okay.
Come on, defense.
You
That's
had
something-
your own hygiene to worry about in the car, right?
Yes.
And I think that you said on direct that you would ask Harmony to come with you, and sometimes she wouldn't,
Right?
sometimes she would.
Yes.
And where would you go for your hygiene?
If we ended up going to a gas station that had a bathroom.
Okay. So one of the places that you used to clean yourself and Harmony up was public restroom and a gas station.
Yes.
Perhaps convenience store,
Yes.
perhaps Walmart.
I don't remember going to Walmart.
Okay. So sometimes she would come out of the car with you and go into the convenience store and you would clean her up, right?
Yes.
And she would not be under a blanket.
No.
Right. And sometimes she didn't go with you.
Right.
And if she had not gone to the bathroom for a long time, would you insist?
I would ask her.
Uh-huh. And she would say what?
She would say no, she doesn't have to use the bathroom.
Okay. And if she hadn't gone to the bathroom for all day, would you insist that she go to the bathroom with you?
Yes.
And when you insisted, did she go with you?
No.
Okay. Okay. Now, you talked about sometimes Harmony would go to the bathroom in the car.
Yes.
Was she wearing underwear during that whole time?
Yes.
Where did you clean her underwear?
We didn't clean her underwear.
Okay. So and I think that you said it was urinating and defecating in the car.
Yes.
And I'll call it pee and poop. Okay.
Yes.
And so you said that she did both.
Yes.
And then, so suppose she peed in the car. What would you do to clean it up?
We would change her clothes.
Okay. What else?
That's it.
Would you clean the car?
Wipe the seat. Yeah.
Okay. And would you clean the underwear that she was wearing?
No, they'd get put in a bag.
Okay. So you had like maybe 7 or 8 or 9 pair of underwear for her to wear?
I don't remember.
Okay. And you said we would clean her up. That would be you and Adam?
Yes.
And when she, how many sets of clothes did she have?
I don't remember.
Probably just a couple, right?
Yeah.
Sustained.
Okay. Do you know if you had more than a couple?
I don't remember.
Okay. But if she urinated in her pants, you would have to not only change her underpants, but also her leggings, right?
Yes.
And do you know if you had a bunch of leggings as well as a bunch of underpants to replace them?
I don't remember.
Okay. And then when she pooped, you would clean her?
Yes.
You would wipe her with the baby wipes?
Yes.
And then would you take her to a public restroom to get her more cleaned?
No.
Overruled.
Pardon?
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. So, and you would sort of understand that she was going through a difficult time because of so many changes in her life.
Yes.
And so you would understand and tell her, Harmony, I know this is difficult, but you really have to tell us when you go to the bathroom,
Yes.
before you go to the bathroom, right?
Yes.
Because and you tried to encourage, come with me, we'll take care of it, we'll be in the bathroom, come with me, right?
Yes.
And did you ever buy pull-ups for her when it became more than a one-time thing?
I don't remember.
Okay. Something you might have thought of, right?
I don't remember.
Okay. And being cooped up in that car for so much time with the kids was a little bit difficult, right?
Yes.
And it was difficult for the kids too, right?
Yes.
So sometimes chaos would just erupt, right?
Yes.
Declan crying, Seamus crying, Harmony crying, right?
No.
Okay.
They never really cried that much.
Okay. But when they cried, it would sort of cascade, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. And it's like what's happening to one would go to the other and the other, and it would just be chaos, right?
Yes.
And how would you soothe them?
I don't remember.
Now, you said that
How many times is that?
Badero
I
didn't
don't
want you
remember.
staying at the Colonial Village parking lot, right?
Right.
He was actually afraid somebody might notice and he would
Yes.
get in trouble.
Yes.
But you also said that he came down daily or every other day or so to give you drugs.
Yes.
So you didn't want to come down and in public hand drugs over to a car that's squatting in a parking lot where it shouldn't be.
Right.
Did he? He came down to meet with Adam.
Yes.
And Adam occasionally would drive him places because Adam had his license.
Right.
And he would drive Badero's car and you would be there with the kids.
I don't remember that.
Okay. But he would have Adam driving him places.
I remember he did that when we were staying at the house. I don't remember him doing that when we lived in the car.
Okay. Well, Badero wasn't. Did you have money while you were in the car?
Not really.
Okay. So you pretty much had to count your pennies when you bought more food and stuff like that.
Yes.
And you couldn't splurge in anything because it was pretty tight, right?
Yes.
But when Adam would meet up with Mr. Badero, he would be able to get some drugs.
Yes.
And Anthony Badero was not giving him drugs for free.
No.
Right. Adam was doing Anthony some favors.
I don't remember that.
Hold on. Approach.
Sidebar.
Time to think about it, right?
Yes.
And to
We're back. Now she's thinking. She's reading and she's thinking. How many more times can she say, I don't know. I don't remember.
Yes.
She's ready. Come on, Kayla. You know this one. This defense attorney is killing me. I was hoping she would go hard at her, but, I don't feel like she is. Although I absolutely 110% want Adam to be convicted on full charges. But right now, this defense, we've been watching this for 45, 50 minutes, and all we've learned is what they eat. Did they go to Walmart? They've learned a couple little things that I don't see exactly how that pertains to Adam not being guilty. I don't understand. I know she's setting this up and you're watching this with me, so you can feel this being set up right now, but I just wish she would have come right out of the gate so the jury would see what the defense is, because right now we're the jury, right? We're the ones watching this. We're the ones making the opinion, even though we're not actually on the jury. We are thinking what the jury is thinking, more than likely. I'm going to fast forward her reading. I can't take this.
If she peed in her pants, her clothes would still smell like urine.
Right.
And if she did it a lot, you had a limited amount of clothes, right?
Right.
And if she pooped her pants, you'd also have to remove the clothes and change them with something else.
Right.
And you didn't have 2 weeks worth of clothes for Harmony.
No.
As a matter of fact, you described what Harmony was wearing, and it was pretty much the same thing the whole time, right?
No.
The leggings that you remembered that she was wearing,
Right.
those were the leggings that she was wearing when she left the house.
No.
Okay. And I was talking about money, that Adam would find ways to get some money. You were not working, right?
Right.
And you were not pulling in any money, right?
Right.
You were watching the kids.
We were staying in our car.
And you were watching the kids, right?
Yeah.
And you were not working.
No.
And you talked on direct when you were being questioned by the state, and you said that you had confessed to your crime of theft at Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Yes.
And you said that you had taken responsibility for that crime, right?
Yes.
Well, you actually got caught in that theft, right?
Yes.
And you were given an option of writing a confession and reaching a restitution agreement, or the police would be called.
Yes.
And so accepting responsibility was taking the lesser way out of the problem so that you wouldn't get a theft charge.
Right.
And you reached an agreement to get out of criminal charges.
Right.
Okay. You were held responsible for that charge, for that
Yes.
crime, right?
Yes.
Just in a different way.
This is like pulling teeth sometimes, people. Like, come on. Come on,
By the way,
defense.
when you used drugs in the car, you wouldn't use them all. You would sort of spread out the usage as much as you could.
Yes.
And so you may not get that as good of a feeling as you would get if you had more money and a better situation, right?
No.
Okay.
Duh.
Doing the drugs sort of eased life's worries.
Not really.
Okay.
Have you ever done
Yeah,
drugs,
because
lady?
life's worries still intruded even while you were using the
Of
drugs,
course.
right?
Yes.
And especially if the kids were fussy and everything, you couldn't just sit back and relax with the drugs. You still had to pay attention to the kids.
Right.
And if they were crying, you still had to soothe the kids.
Yes.
And if they needed changing, or Seamus, Peter pooped in the car, or Harmony, Peter pooped in the car, you couldn't just sit back and relax. You had to do something.
Yes.
Okay. We talked about those several statements that you gave to the police and the prosecutor from the Attorney General's office about the death of Harmony.
Yes.
And those stories changed a bit over time.
Yes.
And when you first told the story, you said that Harmony was peeing and pooping in the car, and Adam punched her 10 to 15 times in the parking lot of the Colonial.
Yes.
And that it was like at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yes.
And when the officer asked, you mean in the overnight hours? You said, yes, it was in the overnight hours that this happened.
Yes.
Because something did happen at 2 or 3 in the morning on the day that Harmony died.
Yes.
And that was that Adam got in the car and Harmony did not wake up.
No, that's not what happened.
Okay. What happened at 2 or 3 in the morning on that day?
Harmony had an accident and Adam kept punching her in the head.
Okay. At 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it was still like it was the middle of the night.
And so in the middle of the night at 2 or 3 in the morning, you're saying that Adam punched her 10 to 15 times.
Yes.
And Harmony was crying,
Yes.
screaming.
Yes.
Declan would start screaming.
I don't remember what Declan and Seamus were doing.
Well, that cascade effect that when one of them is crying and there's chaos in the car, all of them were crying, right?
Not really.
Okay. And then what did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah.
I tried telling him to stop, but he doesn't listen.
Okay. What did you do about the mess?
I didn't do anything about the mess.
Did you clean the car?
No.
Did you clean Harmony?
No.
Was it a pee or a poop?
I don't remember.
Smells are considerably different, right?
Right.
Both
But
of
the
'em-
car already stunk.
It stunk from all the kids living in the car, eating in the car, peeing and pooping in the car, and food being left around the car, right?
Yes.
And body odor.
Yes.
And so if Harmony peed in her seat at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, are you saying that you left her sitting in a puddle of pee?
Yes.
And if she pooped at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you're saying you left her sitting in her own defecation?
Yes.
Why?
Because I was scared of Adam.
Did he tell you don't clean her up?
No, but when I told him to stop, he gave me the crazy eyes that he has. And I just didn't want to do anything because I was scared of him.
Okay. And then things calmed down and everybody went to sleep?
No,
Everybody stayed up?
I don't remember if everybody stayed up, but I know I didn't go back to bed.
Okay. So you were up till 2 or 3 in the morning until you woke up, until it was time to go to the clinic.
Yes.
And I think the clinic was 7 or 8 in the morning.
7.
Okay. So you sat in the car and did nothing until 7 in the morning.
Right.
And you don't remember kids crying and screaming?
No.
I believe that you testified to on direct that Adam woke up and smelled pee or poop.
Yes.
Do you know which that was?
I'm sorry.
urination or defecation, do you recall?
No.
Okay. And he got mad at her for peeing or pooping in the car.
Yes.
Was it a fresh pee or poop?
I don't know.
Okay. So you don't know if she peed or pooped in the car from 2 or 3 in the morning.
No.
Okay. And one of the things I think that you described, Adam saying at one of the things was, why don't you let us know?
Yes.
Like he's surprised at Harmony that she's smelling in the morning. So you're saying he struck her in the morning before the clinic because I think that you said before to the police because she peed herself while still in the parking lot,
Yes.
and that made him mad, you said.
Yes.
And so she peed before you went to the clinic?
It just smelled like urination all the
Okay.
time.
Okay. And she didn't have any injuries that you saw that morning, right?
No.
And you go to the clinic, right?
Yes.
And at the clinic, the two of you have to go in one at a time, right?
Yes.
And the reason that you have to go in one at a time is because somebody had tattled on you at some time earlier for leaving the kids in the car while the two of you went together.
Yes.
And so you were parked in the clinic right out front,
Yes.
and other people are also getting their dosage.
Yes.
And at least at some point, people were paying attention about, well, I'll take that back. So you're right out front of the clinic. I think you, looking at that paperwork, saw that you went in first,
Yes.
and then Adam went in.
Yes.
And did you take that time to clean the car?
No,
Why?
because I didn't.
Okay. I think you testified that when Adam got in the car, you
She looks like she's falling asleep. I don't blame her. And I can't wait until the defense gets to something that actually shows that her client is not guilty. Right now, I'm not convinced. I'm not sure if she's still trying to build a rapport an hour in, but it's there, lady. Come on. Ask the questions. Let's get to it. This is making me fall asleep also.
said, I'm hungry, and I'm sure the kids are hungry.
Yes.
And it was you that wanted to go to Burger King for food.
Yes.
And did you want to go to Burger King because you were hungry?
Yes.
Did you want to go to Burger King because you wanted to clean the car?
No,
Why not?
I didn't.
Okay. Just you were hungry and you thought maybe the kids were hungry too.
Yes.
Okay. And Adam drove to Burger King to get you food and food for the kids.
Yes.
And Adam was not interested in food, right?
That's not true.
Why not?
Because he was hungry too.
Okay. Do you remember telling the prosecutor that Adam, I'm sorry, on March 16 of 2023, do you recall telling the prosecutor that Adam was not interested in food?
No.
All right, I'm going to take a different exhibit. then go to where you actually have communication with the live person.
Yes.
And the first thing that you do before you get your food or anything like that is turn over.
The volume's
but
terrible.
Adam is doing it because he's in
Sorry.
the driver's seat,
I
right?
can't control the cord.
Turning over the cash.
Yes.
Might have been card, but probably not, right?
Right.
You know, do you have a specific recollection now of whether it was cash?
No.
Okay. So assuming cash, but card would be the same, you turn it over to the clerk, right?
Yes.
And then the clerk does what the clerk does with money,
Yes.
and then opens the window again and maybe counts out the change.
Yes.
And Adam would be there with his hand out and change being counted out into his hand, right?
Yes.
And then maybe that change is handed to you so that he can then reach in again for the food.
Yes.
And when the food comes in, he probably takes the bag and gives it to you.
Yes.
And you said that just before that, the Adam was scared because he had been striking Harmony and something different happened.
Yes.
And while he's striking Harmony, the children are screaming.
Come on, Court TV.
Yes.
Going in through the Burger King parking lot.
Get your sound
Yes.
Going
together.
through the Burger King order spot.
Yes.
And going through the Burger King drive-through.
Yes.
And you did not do anything, as you said, with Harmony.
Right. Right.
She was just laying there in the back.
Yes.
And right there as he drives up to the clerk at the Burger King parking lot.
Yes.
Okay.
They got to get it together here. I'm going to fast forward a little because
So let's
There we
talk
go.
about why you left the Colonial. At that point where eventually the car broke down. Okay. Did you have concerns about Harmony in the car at the time that you left?
No.
Did you look at Harmony at all in the car before you left?
No.
And you said that Adam, struck her God knows how many times,
Yes.
and that she had been crying, and that Adam actually got scared that he had hurt her.
Yes.
And you never checked.
No.
And you described on direct when you were talking to the state that whenever you all were out in public, Harmony would be covered up so no one would see.
Right.
That wasn't quite true, right?
Not in the beginning.
Okay. And not at Burger King.
Yes, she was under the blanket in Burger King.
Okay. Do you recall saying that she had a blanket on her lap
No.
when you were feeding her?
I just knew the blanket was there.
And that you put little pieces of food on her blanket that was on her lap to feed her?
No. I don't remember putting pieces of food on her lap.
Sort of toss back a sandwich?
Yeah.
Okay. And you had no concerns about Harmony?
No.
You said that she was moaning before she was at Burger King?
Yeah.
And you said that she was moaning after Burger King.
Yes.
And that moaning had you concerned,
Yes.
but you didn't check.
No.
And I think you just said because you weren't concerned.
No, I am concerned. I was concerned.
Okay. And you didn't check on her.
No.
And Adam, you described as being scared that he would hurt her, had hurt her.
Yes.
And where did you go from? Where were you going from the village?
I don't remember where we were going. I don't remember if we were going to figure out how to get money to get more drugs. I don't remember what we were doing. I don't
Okay.
remember why we left.
Okay. So that if this were true, then Adam would be driving around with a critically injured child in the back seat in public.
Right.
And it would have been a pretty important place to have to go for him to take that sort of risk of driving around with a critically injured child in the back seat.
He didn't care.
Okay. And you did or did not?
I felt like I had no say.
Okay.
Anytime I said something, I'd get yelled at.
Okay. And then you say that at the intersection. By the way, what drugs did you do that day?
I remember doing heroin or fentanyl.
Okay. Not crack.
I don't remember if we did that or not.
Okay. So when you said on direct that it was heroin and crack, that's not what you recall.
I don't remember.
Okay, it's going to pick up a little bit. Now she's built her rapport. She's talked about God knows what food they ate, what they were doing exactly, all the I don't remembers. Now she's going to try to trip her up on some things and make her sound like she's lying. Like she's already lied a bunch to the cops, right? She got convicted of perjury, so now it's the defense's job to point the finger at her and make her look like she's the one that did it or cause reasonable doubt. Let's watch.
Doing both or not.
But you do recall heroin and fentanyl.
Yes.
Okay. And so we discussed timing with the Colonial at 7 and then the breakdown late morning, right?
Yes.
So you were at the Colonial for a few hours.
We're at the clinic at 7.
And then Burger King and then the Colonial.
Yes.
And so you were at the Colonial parking lot for a few hours or a couple of hours before you left for wherever it was you were going.
I don't think we were there that long.
Do you recall the tow truck driver, do you recall going back to the intersection and the tow truck driver was there?
You're talking about after the car broke down?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I remember when we got brought back.
Okay. And that was like after 12:30 or so, right?
Yeah, something like that.
And how long did it take you to walk to Mr. Vadero's from the car?
I don't know. It felt like a long walk. I don't remember how long.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. In that time that you were in the Colonial parking area on the 6th, prior to the car breaking down, Harmony was in the car, but she was dead, right?
No.
Basis? Yes.
Okay, another sidebar. We're getting into some hairy questions here. Maybe bloody questions.
Is that correct? Is that correct? I'll move this foot a bit because it might be hidden by it. And ask you again to review a portion of it, and I'm going to ask you a question. And that is the area.
Okay.
And you told Adam that you should go to Badero's,
I
right?
asked him if we should.
Okay. So it was your idea. Right?
Yeah.
And you gathered, Adam grabbed a duffel bag from the trunk.
Yes.
You got your purse and stuff from the trunk.
No, my purse was not in the trunk.
Okay. So you got your purse and you got some stuff from the trunk. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You got some diapers for the kids,
Yes.
and you couldn't take too much with you because you were walking with all the kids to Mr. Badero's.
Right.
And you can't wait around for any kind of help because you have to get Harmony's body away from that car as soon as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about discovering that Harmony was dead. I think on direct, you said that Adam opened the door and said something like, baby girl, wake up, or wake up, baby girl.
Yes.
And she wasn't moving.
Right.
And that's when he popped open the trunk, you said.
The trunk wouldn't open.
It did eventually, though, right?
We moved the car seat out of the car so that he could move the seat to get into the trunk.
Okay. And Adam checked her breathing.
He was just trying to wake her and she wouldn't wake up.
Okay. Do you remember Adam saying that Adam put his hand over her heart?
No.
And so that didn't happen? You don't have a recollection of Adam putting his hand over her heart?
No, I don't.
Okay. But you did tell the police that in June of 23rd that he put his hand over her heart to check her.
He was checking her, but she wasn't waking up.
Okay. So he did put his hand over her heart to check her.
He tried waking her up. I don't remember the hand on the heart.
Okay.
Come on, defense. Bring it. Why are you being so light? You want the defendant to
You
look
remember telling the police on June of
not guilty.
2023 that he checked her breathing and like put his hand on her heart?
No.
Okay, I'm going to show you. Copy of that same transcript, okay? And ask you to review that paragraph there, okay?
I still don't remember that, but I can see that I said that, but I don't remember it happening.
Okay. But what you told the police back in June of 2023, you were telling them as if it was a memory, right?
Right.
So either it wasn't a memory or that memory is gone.
I don't remember.
And you also checked Harmony, and she wasn't breathing.
Right.
You checked her neck and you checked her wrists,
Yeah.
and you were looking for a pulse.
Yeah.
Must have been panicking.
Yeah.
Did you do that before or after you were waving cars around?
After.
Okay. So after you have checked Harmony, you're saying that you went to the back of the car and you're sort of moving, waving cars around to get them around your car.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did you do that?
Until we got the stuff out of the car that we needed to get out.
Okay. So are you doing that while Adam is getting stuff out of the car?
No, we're both on each side of the car doing the same thing, trying to get stuff out.
Which side of the car were you on?
I don't remember.
Okay.
So far, I don't, again, see a big jump and a big jump to Adam not being guilty or finding a reasonable doubt. I'm not in the jury, but just watching this, I mean, she's not credible. We know she's not credible. And she does cry later on, so we're going to watch that. We're going to watch a little more of this. And I mean, this is just a lot of back and forth. Heard the lawyer trying to trip her up on cross, of course, because that's her job. And we'll jump to when she talks about after the death, because I want to see how she reacts. And when she does cry, how is it different? But she's really defensive right now, and she has an attitude. And so, yeah, let's keep listening for a while. I won't be able to cover all the day because this is a long day in court.
And you claim that as these cars are going around and beeping and everything, that Adam put Harmony into a duffel bag.
Yes.
And the four of you walked to Colonial Village.
Right.
Now, on direct, you said that you never saw Harmony bleed.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay. Did you ever see blood on her?
Not that I remember.
Okay. And
Earlier, she said she had a bloody face. Old blood.
You-
What she said
you
earlier.
told the police that while Adam was throwing stuff in the back and cleaning the car, that, well, you told the police that Adam was putting stuff in the bag and cleaning the car, right?
After
What?
after we got to Anthony's and he brought us back to the car to get stuff out
Uh-huh.
and he cleaned it.
Okay. And you said that he cleaned the back seat because he had blood on his hands from hitting Harmony.
I don't remember.
Yes.
There's a lot of silence in this. She can't remember anything. She can't remember. She doesn't know. If you watch the testimony on day 3, she definitely had an answer for everything. She definitely knew. She definitely, for the most part, had something to say. Do you think it was because she was coached? Probably. She didn't know what to say for this one because obviously you can't be coached for cross-examination. So now she's reading through it. She wants to see what she said. She doesn't want to trip herself up or get more charges. So I think she's being careful. We definitely don't want, all of us, we want justice. We don't want to see reasonable doubt here because we want Adam to be charged with the actual murder, right? She's not on trial. She's done. She made a plea deal. If she gets tripped up on something else, she'll get other charges, but I highly doubt that she's going to get charges for the actual murder. So at this point, we're hoping that they don't find a reasonable doubt. Now she's still reading. Let me see if I can get past this.
Okay. So you, Adam, and the kids would walk over to the shelter to apply for shelter there.
We walked to city welfare.
Okay. And would you, Adam, and the kids be in the office all together making the application?
When we filled out the application, yes.
Okay.
And then I saw the case manager. I don't remember if we were together or if it was just me.
Okay. Now, when you you told the jury that it fit, you had taken the duffel bag from the ceiling.
Overruled. Yes.
Another sidebar.
Both of them, I don't know.
Okay.
Ha. So I wasn't muted first, or I was muted for a second. I was talking. So I'm going to fast forward this. And I actually did fast forward through the lunch break. They rumbled the paper, did a sidebar, and then took a lunch break. Here we go. She's back on the stand and
All rise.
Harmony in the back seat after Burger King, leaning on Seamus's seat.
Yeah, she was always leaning on one of the car seats.
Okay. And you said it was Seamus's.
Okay, so I must have it mixed up. I don't remember. I always thought Declan was in the middle.
Okay. If you told them on the 23rd that it was June 23rd that it was a Seamus, it could have been.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you were on May 16, 2023, you were talking about feeding the children, and you said Declan couldn't eat yet because he was an infant, but I gave Seamus a little piece at the time he was in the middle. Is that right?
Yes.
And that was as if it was a memory, that you were speaking from memory.
Yes.
And do you recall, because you talked about feeding Declan and putting the pieces in his mouth, do you recall if you did that?
I remember feeding one of them, both of them. I don't know.
Okay. And you talked about putting a sandwich on Harmony's lap, but not looking at her, right?
Right.
But you saw that she had a blanket on her lap, right?
Yeah. She always had a blanket on her.
And it was on her lap, you described it, right?
Yes.
Not over her, it was on her lap.
This poor baby.
And
What a
that
life.
you were not looking, but you were sitting and just handing stuff back.
Right.
Okay.
Come on, defense, bring it. We got 45 minutes left in this. I'm hoping they go out with a bang
So-
here.
A couple of things on Union Avenue and what you described at Union Avenue. I think that you described the tote was in the, not the tote, the plastic thing with the tote inside was in the closet, and then the tote was put in the refrigerator.
The bag was in the tote in the closet. Then the bag ended up in the refrigerator.
CMC bag.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was in the refrigerator for a bit until it was taken out to go into the bathtub.
Yes.
And after it was in the bathtub, it went in the freezer.
Yes.
Okay. And you talked about events in the freezer. I mean, in the shower. And
The freezer. They were in the freezer.
described for the jury lime.
Let me know if you think
And
the
that lime
defense
was
is
used in
bringing
the
it.
shower.
No.
Did you say that lime was put in a bag?
Yes.
So that was on the floor of the bathroom. Is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Does she know what she's saying? I don't.
Why lime?
Adam got the lime. I don't know where it came from.
Okay. Did y'all research lime and what it might do?
I did not.
Okay. It's not like anything was dissolving in the shower or anything, right? With the lime? In the
It
bathroom?
wasn't in the bathroom. It wasn't used in the shower.
Okay. But nothing was dissolving or anything with lime, right?
I have no idea.
You were in there.
Not the whole time.
Okay. You said that lime was put in a bag and then Harmony's body was put in a bag. You didn't see any reaction of her body to the lime, right?
No.
Nothing changed.
I
Right.
didn't see her body getting put in the bag with the lime. Adam said that he was going to be putting her body in the lime, in the bag that has the lime in it.
Okay. Okay. And you talked on direct about a tool. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And when you first spoke to the police, you told them that scissors were the only tool used in the shower, right?
From what I remember, yes.
Okay. And the scissors were used to cut clothes off of Harmony.
Yes.
And you used the scissors
Yes.
and you cut off Harmony's hoodie.
Yes.
And you're saying Adam used the scissors
Yes.
and cut off her leggings.
Yes.
And those were the only tools in the bathroom, right?
That I saw, yes.
How big's the bathroom?
The bathroom wasn't that big.
Okay. You saw the things that were in the bathroom, right?
Yes.
And you claim to have seen a bag of lime in the bathroom, right?
Yes.
You didn't see any tools, right?
No, I saw a bag of lime and trash bags.
Okay. And there weren't any tools sitting outside the bathroom, right?
No.
Okay. And you didn't hear any power saws?
No, because it was really loud.
What was really loud?
Our neighbor next door was a drunk and very loud, always blasting his music.
Okay. And you think that the music could have overcome power tools if they were used?
I believe so. Yeah, it was very loud all the time.
Okay. And when you first talked to the police, you actually denied that you helped Adam in the bathroom, right?
Right.
And you denied that you had anything to do with what he did in the bathroom.
Right.
You said that Adam didn't want you in the bathroom.
Right.
And then when you had to admit that you were in the bathroom, you ended up admitting that you cut off the hoodie, right?
Right.
And you ended up admitting that you were zipping up the bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were in the bathroom for what?
No.
For a few times.
Like a couple times, yes.
Okay. And otherwise, the shower was going.
Yes.
And so presumably the water is doing something.
Yes.
And a bag of lime on the floor in the bathroom would generally not be touched by a shower that's in the tub, right?
No, it was in the corner of the bathroom.
Okay. Away from the tub.
Yes.
Okay. But the shower, I think you said, was going continuously
Yes.
the whole time.
Yes.
And you could hear that.
That's what I saw.
Saw or heard?
I saw. I couldn't hear it, but I saw.
And you saw it going the whole time?
Not the whole time, but I assumed the whole time
Okay. Okay.
because he told me what he was doing.
Okay. And you and Adam were working together to take the clothes off of Harmony and put her in the bag.
I didn't put her in the bag.
You zipped up the bag.
He needed help zipping up the bag. I was there in the beginning and I was there in the end.
Excuse me. Sir, you need to step out or turn the pager off. Okay, please step out.
I heard that pager. I thought it was in my background.
Thank you.
She almost laughed there. You see that?
You would re-ask your question.
Come on, defense. Get to it. Re-ask the question. Let's create reasonable doubt if that's what you're going to do. Not that we want to, but I want to create a poll to see if you guys think that defense brought it today.
So what you're saying now is you didn't know if the shower was going the whole time.
No.
Okay. Now you didn't know if Adam used any tools in the shower because you weren't there the whole time,
Right.
but you never saw any.
No.
And the police specifically asked you about tools
Yes.
and specific types of tools, right?
Yes.
And you told them that the only tool that Adam had was a box, a big box under the counter in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And that when he pulled out that box one time when he was losing it, he broke the counter.
Yes.
And it was a pretty big box, right?
Yes.
And you did not see any other power tools in the apartment
No.
before or since,
I'm sorry.
before that day or after that day.
No.
Okay. And they actually showed you pictures of power tools
Yes.
to ask you about those power tools.
Yes.
And did they show you a picture of a big table saw?
Yes.
And that was or was not similar to what you had seen in the apartment?
It was similar to it.
Okay.
Here we go. Here comes the part where she tells Adam what to do. This is the only part so far that I've heard
I'm going to show you a
that
picture.
contradicts her being scared. But in the testimony, not out of everything. I definitely don't believe her now any more than I believe her any other time.
You
But
recognize this picture?
Yes.
And is that what you're saying? Well, how do you recognize this picture?
It's a table saw.
Uh-huh. And was that the type of tool that you had seen in the apartment?
Yeah, there was a table saw in the box.
Okay. And I'm gonna ask that this page be marked as an exhibit, Your Honor. It's not, it's remarked.
Attorney Smith, for identification or full?
Full.
Any objection? No. All right, it can be marked as a full exhibit.
And they also showed you a picture of a circular saw, right?
I don't know the difference.
Okay, I'm going to show you another picture. And ask you if you recognize that, what's in that picture.
Yeah, that's what it looked.
Pardon?
It looked more like what it was than that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you actually told the detective that it looked like the cordless compact circular saw.
No, it wasn't cordless.
Okay. You say it had a cord.
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I'm sorry, I did not have this pre-marked. I would like this offered as a full exhibit.
Can be entered as a full exhibit.
thank you.
And this is, thank you. And do you remember the detective saying out loud that, did it look like the cordless compact circular saw? And you said, yeah.
No.
Okay. got a copy of Defendant's Exhibit E for ID.
The one that was in the house, the
Okay.
apartment.
As he said, of a cordless compact circular saw, right?
Right.
And the photograph that's been marked as I is in, at least indicates it's a cordless compact circular saw or cordless circular saw.
Yeah, that's what it says. But it wasn't cordless, the one that was in the house, the
Okay.
apartment.
But that was the one that it looked like?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Detective Dunleavy showed you another photograph and asked if that perhaps looked like the tool under the sink.
That one?
No, a different one.
I don't know.
Do you recall him showing you a picture of a miter saw?
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. We'll get there.
Okay.
So earlier in direct, you were given a picture of a power tool, right?
Yeah.
And you had signed that photograph, right?
Right.
Or I'm sorry, initialed it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know when you initialed it?
No.
Pardon?
No.
Was it recent or a long time ago?
I know I did some recent and I did some a long time ago, so I don't remember.
You signed some photographs recently and signed some a long time ago?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you. And I keep saying sign and I'm misstating. You initialed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 63.
For identification or full?
It's been in as full.
That was recent.
This you
Yes.
signed recently
Yes.
in one of those prep sessions.
Yes.
And back in March 16, 2023, you did not sign Exhibit 63 as the tool that you had seen, right?
Right.
And if I may publish, Your Honor.
Objection?
And the name of the type of saw on that photograph that you recently signed was M18 Fuel 18 volt lithium ion brushless cordless size grinder with paddle switch, tool only. Okay.
Yes.
Is this defense attorney more tired than Kayla?
Back in March of 2023, when you were shown photographs, you identified the one that looked most like the tool as the cordless circular saw, right? I'll show you Defendant's Exhibit I.
I don't get what you're trying to say.
This cordless circular
I don't
saw
either.
photograph was the one that you identified most like the tool that was under the counter.
Yes.
Okay, if I may, Your Honor.
Yep.
So how was it that you came to initial a grinder with paddle photograph? What happened? What was the exchange where you initialed it?
Because my mom had a similar tool just like that one. Adam asked to take it, and I said, no, you're not taking it. It's my mother's.
Okay.
And he wanted to take it, and I don't remember if he took it or not because he would have did it behind my back.
Okay. And there were never any new tools in the apartment, right?
Not that I knew of.
And you didn't see any new tools around the time that you're talking about the things that you and Adam did in the shower.
Right, but he also brought lime and whatever else into the apartment, and I had no idea.
Okay. And you also talked to the prosecutor about tools in your prep session, right?
Right.
And in that prep session, you said you didn't know of any tools, but Adam said he wanted to, right?
Yes.
And that came in the most recent prep sessions that Adam told you he wanted to use tools.
Right.
And you didn't say when they were asking you about tools in June 3rd or June 23rd, you didn't see any tools, but Adam wanted to use tools, right?
Right.
And you didn't say in March 16 of 2023 that you didn't see tools. There was an old thing that looked kind of like the circular saw, but Adam said he wanted to use tools, right? And when you're prepping for your testimony here, I think that you said your parole hearing was coming up in May.
I don't know about my hearing. I know my minimum is in May.
Okay, and so you are hoping for a parole hearing and to get out in May, right?
Yeah.
But it's not guaranteed, right?
No.
Okay. And on that time where the state had you initial that fuel grinder, did they show you the picture and say, have you ever seen this?
Yes.
And you said, oh, my mom has one.
I said, yes, my mom had one. I saw that she had one of those.
Okay.
This is
And
where
when they showed you this picture,
Speaks
you
up.
thought it might be important to the case, right?
Because Adam asked to take it, and I
Okay.
told him not to.
Okay. And that's a real clear memory, right?
Right.
And it's something that you never mentioned in 20.
So this is where I have to speak up about this. Is she told Adam not to take that saw from her mom's house, but she never told him not to beat Montgomery, or I'm sorry, Harmony. What? Don't take that saw, but she never said don't hit Harmony. I don't get it. This is where she gets tripped up. She's very strong in her will about this, telling him no. But not once does she ever say no. Don't hurt her, don't hit her, don't kill her. What?
In June or March 22, 23, right?
Because it didn't get brought up. I wasn't thinking about that.
Well, they were asking about tools, weren't they?
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking about tools that my mom had. I wasn't remembering that Adam wanted to take that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
And what was that tool? Did you remember what it was?
Ugh,
A hand
I'm
saw.
so mad.
Okay.
That's what I call it anyway.
Okay.
I've never heard her say
And
no. Damn.
what were the circumstances that you saw it at your mom's place?
Because my mother works with wood. She has her own refurbishing
Uh-huh.
company, and she does her own woodwork.
Okay.
And she just got it. It was brand new in the
Okay.
box.
Okay. So if it was brand new and purchased, it was brand new in December of 2021.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think? You
The
think
police showed you.
they're catching on to that?
Uh,
You think anyone caught on to that? That she's telling him
photograph
no,
of
but
the
she can't tell him
CMC
no
bag when
about
you
Harmony
were
ever?
doing the interview in June of 2023, right?
Yes.
And you identified that as the same type of bag, the same as the one that you got from Catholic Medical Center when you had your child.
Yes.
And you actually thought that it was your bag.
Right.
You thought they had found the bag.
Yeah.
And you had thought that because you recognized this little spot
Yeah.
in the photograph. I may publish, Your Honor.
She's showing the bag, and people, it's coming up that they're going to talk about the murder and putting Harmony in the bag. So we're getting close. Hang in there. I am.
You say that Harmony's body was taken down from the ceiling at Fit and put into the shower at Fit
Did you see that bag?
and put into a trash bag and into the CMC bag.
Yes.
And that body stayed in the CMC bag for a while.
Yes.
And then you took the CMC bag down the street to Portland Pie.
Yes.
And then the CMC bag came back to
Or
I just fast forwarded from that sidebar. We cut down hours
the
into two.
completely changing the subject. I want to take you back to the summer of 2019, and you testified about Kevin and Adam having an argument and you overhearing it.
yes.
And the argument was about Kevin Montgomery's failure to pay bills that he had promised to pay, right?
Part of it, yeah.
Okay. You all were kind of left in the lurch because those bills weren't paid, right?
Yes.
I may have a moment, Your Honor.
Another sidebar. I don't know about this defense.
Thank you.
I've seen one,
The
two flags, red flags, but
completely changing the subject. I want to take you back to the summer of 2019, and you testified about Kevin and Adam having an argument and you overhearing it.
Yes.
And the argument was about Kevin Montgomery's failure to pay bills that he had promised to pay, right?
Part of it, yeah.
Okay. You all were kind of left in the lurch because those bills weren't paid, right?
Yes.
I may have a moment, Your Honor.
To tell him that I was working with the cops and he would accuse me of sleeping with the guy downstairs, sleeping with all these different people, that I came out of the window one night. I couldn't take care of the kids. He wouldn't let me do anything without him being there.
You said that he was mentally abusive to you. Can you tell the jurors how?
By asking me if I was working with the cops and
Now she's going on a redirect and she's not on cross-examination anymore. She didn't cry the entire time.
Attorney Smith asked you, she asked you about if that's when the defendant was losing it. What does losing it mean to you? Was that when he was hitting you? Was that something else?
everything. He was abusive. He, in all ways, physical, emotional, and mentally.
You said physical, you said emotional, and you said mentally.
Yes.
And let's unpack that. How is he physical with you? How is he physically abusive towards you in that period before you escaped him?
He thought that I was telling on him or cheating on him or trying to kill him.
Okay. And how is he physical with you in those interactions?
He wanted me to tell him who I was cheating on him with or if I was working with the cops, and I kept saying that I didn't, and he kept hitting me anyway. And then I started telling him that I did, even though I wasn't, and he still kept hitting me anyway.
And let's talk about that. Why would you tell him that you were doing these things, working with the police why would you tell him that, even though you weren't at the time?
So that I wouldn't get hit.
Did he still hit you?
Yes.
You said that he was emotionally abusive to you. Tell the jurors about that.
Because he'd go back and forth with telling me to tell him that I was working with the cops, and he would accuse me of sleeping with the guy downstairs, sleeping with all these different people, that I came out of the window one night. I couldn't take care of the kids.
Well, why didn't you say no to him about
He
Harmony?
wouldn't let me do anything without him being there.
We don't care about you that much.
You said that he was mentally abusive to you. Can you tell the jurors how?
What about Harmony?
By asking me if I was working with the cops and making sure that I stuck with the story that he brought me to work and dropped me off and was bringing Harmony to her mom.
And can you tell us who came up with that story?
He did, Adam.
And you stuck to it.
Yeah.
You stuck to it even though you knew you weren't working at the time. I'll rephrase. Did you stick to it even though you knew you weren't working at the time?
Yes.
Attorney Smith asked you about Adam being pure evil. Did you think that Adam was pure evil?
when he would start going crazy, yeah.
And you mentioned the evil eyes. When he looked at you in that moment, evil eyes. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
And was that right after he'd beaten Harmony?
Yeah, it just got worse.
Were there also good times with the defendant in that period?
Yeah. But it was mostly bad.
And in those bad times, were you hoping for the good times?
Yeah.
Kayla, do you still love the defendant?
I still care about him because he's the father of my children. He was my best friend. It's been hard for me to just let go.
Kayla, I want to switch gears with you just a bit. You mentioned that after the defendant had beaten Harmony to death, after your car died at that intersection, after the defendant realized that Harmony was dead, that he got a duffel bag out of the trunk. And Attorney Smith asked you about him getting that duffel bag out of the trunk. And you said that the trunk would not open.
Yeah.
And he had to go in through the back seats.
Yeah.
Can you tell the jurors why the trunk wouldn't open?
When the car died, nothing was electronic was working. The windows wouldn't go down. The car just stopped working.
Kayla, I'm going to switch gears with you again. And I'm sorry to bounce around like this, but you talked about Mr. Badero, Anthony Badero, being a source of drugs, an occasional source of drugs.
Yes.
And Attorney Smith asked you about how these drugs would be purchased.
Yes.
And I believe the testimony that she asked you about was that sometimes you'd pay for them, sometimes he'd give them to you for free. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes.
Would Mr. Badero also accept food stamps or SNAP as a form of payment for drugs?
Yes.
And when you were living in the car, is that a form of payment that he accepted?
Yes.
Did that lead to your family having to eat baby food as a result?
Yes.
Who was eating baby food while you were living in that car?
All of us. Myself and the boys in Harmony.
Attorney Smith asked you about trying to keep things quiet in the parking lot of the Colonial Village Apartments that morning around 2-3 a.m. when you woke up and the defendant was beating Harmony, striking her blow after blow. And you talked about the children not screaming. Is that because at the same time he was telling them to shut the fuck up? I think that was your testimony on direct.
Yes.
Who was he telling to shut the fuck up?
Harmony.
And was that before, during, or after he was brutally beating her?
Before and after.
Attorney Smith asked you several questions about Harmony, the changes that were happening to her. And she said that it was difficult for Harmony because of all the changes. And you agreed with that, but I want to ask you about that. Was it difficult for Harmony because of all the changes that she was going through?
Why don't you finish the question and then I'll rule on the objection.
So Kayla, was it difficult for Harmony because of all the changes she was going through, or because she was terrified of the defendant?
Sustained. Let me rephrase the question.
Kayla, was it difficult for Harmony because of her fear of the defendant? It's a direct
What are
question.
they-
It's not a leading question.
What is she objecting about?
During your cross-examination, this was last week, the defense attorney said during her examination of you that Harmony died in the car with you, right? And you weren't able to explain the answer that you'd given. Who else was in the car with you, with Harmony, when Harmony died?
Adam and the two boys.
And who was striking her repeatedly right before she died?
Adam.
Are you aware that the defense argued in their opening that something happened to Harmony in the middle of the night, and that thing killed her before the defendant was even around?
Right.
So is that true?
No.
Did Harmony die in the middle of the night alone with you when the defendant wasn't even there?
No.
So when you testified during the defendant's examination that you thought Harmony was sleeping but then found out she was dead,
Yes.
was that in the middle of the night, or was that the next day after your car broke down?
That was the next day.
That was after the methadone clinic.
Yes.
Justice for Harmony.
Kayla, you were just asked, so you were asked last Friday, about a letter that you'd written with various demands. Do you remember that? It's the defense exhibit G.
Yes.
Did anyone notice Adam?
In that
not
letter,
there again?
you discuss betraying the defendant, and the attorney asked you if you wrote betraying, but you weren't asked to explain what betraying meant. Can you tell the jurors what you meant when you said betraying?
I felt like I was betraying him, Adam, by telling what happened to Harmony. And I was fighting with myself. Because I didn't want him to be mad at me for doing the right thing.
Were you referring to the secret that you'd been keeping for 2 years?
Yes.
Were you referring to telling the truth about him beating Harmony to death? I'll strike that question, Judge. Last week, you were asked to describe a conversation that you had with the defendant where he agreed to take the fall for Harmony's death, but you weren't asked to explain what that meant. What did you mean when you said take the fall, or when he said take the fall?
That he wants me with the children. And no matter what happens, he's the one at fault.
Was he taking the fall for something that you did?
No.
Did you beat Harmony to death?
No.
Was he taking the fall for what he had done?
Yes.
You said that in the spring of 2020, the defendant was acting strange. He was accusing you of telling on him for what he'd done to Harmony. What did you mean when you said he was acting strange?
Every time we got high, as soon as he got high, he started freaking out and just accused me of working with the cops, thought there was cameras in the house, the TV, smashed every phone we had, just destroyed the whole apartment.
When you were asked about lying to the grand jury, you said that he was stuck in your head. What did you mean by that?
That I stick with the story that he told me to say.
And that was stuck in your head during your testimony.
Yes.
I want to talk about that list of items that you gave, your requirements, the things that you'd like before testifying. Did you get immunity?
No.
Where are you currently living, Kayla?
New Hampshire State Prison for Women.
Kayla, did you get to keep your children?
No.
Do you have any rights to them?
No.
Are you even allowed to speak to them right now, Kayla?
No.
No sympathy for her.
You said
But
that after the defendant repeatedly struck Harmony, after he put the blanket over her, after she moaned, after the strange crying, moaning stopped, after he did drugs, and after the car died, you thought that Harmony was asleep under that blanket.
Yes.
Why did you think that she may be sleeping after Adam repeatedly struck her?
Because she usually just goes to sleep after.
Kayla, why stay with someone? Why stay with someone that does this to you?
Because I was scared. And I still cared about him.
Why defend a person that does this to you?
Because I was scared what would happen. I didn't want anybody getting in trouble.
Why stay with someone? Why stay with someone that does what he did to a helpless girl like this?
Because for some reason I still cared about him.
now we wouldn't know what happened if it wasn't for her. Keep that in mind.
That beat her to death.
I don't know. I was scared.
Attorney Smith asked you about a proffer agreement, your agreement to provide information about what the defendant had done, what had happened to Harmony. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Yes.
And she asked you about how none of those statements could be used against you. And I think you
Yes.
agreed with that.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you, Kayla, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 102 for identification. I'm just going to ask that you.
So we're almost done here, folks. For everybody that popped by, for everybody that watched for a while, everybody that was on the whole time just listening, thank you. Once I get the views up, thank you to my subscribers. I have more subscribers in the last week than ever before, and it's because I'm putting out content. But it's not just because I'm putting out content. It must be because the viewers like the content. Although it's a Monday and the day after Super Bowl, I've had many more subscribers today, so I appreciate you all. We're going to finish this up with the last bit of Kayla Montgomery's testimony, cross, and then redirect. This is the redirect, and then we are done for the day. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Review that document.
He's basically trying to show that she can get in trouble for what she says. That's not true that she can't. She can. If she gets tripped up on something and the state finds out, they will charge her. So she's reading it now. The defense tried to say that she couldn't get more charges, and she agreed. I think she'd just been on the stand too long. I don't know. But smart of the state to show that, because that wasn't true. She still could be charged with more charges. And, at this point, I want Adam to be charged fully. And if she gets charged, so be it. If they go after her when this trial's over and they don't need her anymore, well, too bad. She should have said something. She should have spoke up. I've been scared before, but not too scared for a little girl's life to let her go and get beaten and abused every day. And now I would speak up. And maybe it could be a partial excuse. She was on drugs and beaten down. And I know women that get abused, it's this pattern that they go back and they do it again. I'm not saying that women that get abused aren't going to be scared and have PTSD and trauma, but this is beyond. It happened way
Kayla, is
too
that the
many times.
agreement as you remember it?
Yes.
And do you recognize any of the signatures on that final page?
Yes.
Which one do you recognize?
Mine and my attorney and the AG.
Is that the true and correct agreement?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this point, I move to admit states, what's marked for identification as states 102.
Any objection? No, Your Honor. All right, the ID may be stricken and it'll be entered as a full exhibit.
I'm going to take it back. Kayla, does that agreement discuss how your statements can be used against you?
Yes.
Tell the jurors how your statements can be used against you.
If I lie. And
Does it
not-
say what other than your statements can be used against you if you lie?
I can get charged with anything.
Does it discuss evidence related to Harmony, her body?
Yes.
Can that information also be used against you?
Yes.
Now, is that the information that you went to that meeting with?
Yes.
And you knew about that before you testified yesterday and today?
Yes.
Kayla, do you remember being, excuse me, do you remember being asked by the defense attorney last Friday about deciding to take an agreement with the prosecution?
Yes.
Do you remember Attorney Smith asking you the following questions and you providing the following answer? She said, but you knew they had you solid on the perjury charges, right?
Yes.
And you said right to that. You were never getting around that one. Attorney Smith asked you. You were never getting around that one.
Right.
And so you decided this would probably be,
Overruled.
and so you decided this would probably be the best you could do to get as few consequences as you can, as possible, for your actions as possible, right? Do you remember being asked those questions?
Yes.
Because people facing criminal charges make strategic decisions to admit to some lesser offenses to try to limit their legal exposure or get as few consequences for their legal actions as possible, right?
Right.
Now, the defense asked you about that legal strategy. So you think that they would be aware of it, right?
Yes.
Are you aware that falsifying physical evidence, that abuse of a corpse, it's lesser than murder?
Yes.
And are you aware that in their opening, they told this jury that that they can find the defendant guilty of falsifying and abuse of a corpse?
Yes.
Can you remind these jurors who killed Harmony?
Adam Montgomery.
I have just a moment.
That's right, folks. Adam Montgomery is on trial here. Not Kayla. She's the one that's testifying and she's bringing the evidence to the table of what happened. If it wasn't for her,
Yes.
we wouldn't know.
I'm sorry.
How were you aware of what was said at openings?
I was told by the lawyer.
Your lawyer told you what was said at opening.
I believe so. I don't know. I'm not like here right now. Can
Pardon?
you rephrase the question, please?
You're on a new approach.
That's it for the day, folks. Yeah, so she asked a sticky question, and they want to try to get Adam off the best they can. I'm not so sure about the defense attorney. I'm not going to say anything bad about her, but I'm also not an Adam Montgomery fan, so I don't think that she's the greatest attorney. What I've seen from this trial, she just isn't bringing it like I thought. Now I'm answering my question. Do you think the defense brought it? No. And I am hoping and praying for justice of Harmony Montgomery. And the biggest justice would be to convict Adam Montgomery so he never gets out. Again, I don't know what the sentencing is just yet. None of us do. But this monster should never be out on the streets. All of this that you heard is a continuation of what's been happening. And now the death is what he got caught for. So thank you for being here. Thank you for those who subscribed. You've been here for 2 hours and 33 minutes, or you've watched it for 2 hours and 33 minutes, and I won't keep you or myself. I've been at work all day, wanted to hear this, so I thought I'd hear it with you. Thank you, everybody. And let me close out of this. I will try to come back for day 5. It's supposed to last 3.5 weeks, so I'm not sure if I'm going to cover this on day 5 or I'm going to lump a couple of days in there to the things that I find powerful for you all to see. There was more testimony for today, but I wanted to bring the major, state witness of what happened. You can probably check other places for this and see what happened if you want to watch the full day. I'll put that in the description below, and you can check out the rest of this. As for me, I'm out. Have a good night. Again, I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime. You can see. Please like and subscribe to my channel. The more subscribers and shares and likes, the more I'll be able to bring you content. I don't need donations. I don't need anything right now. I'll put more hours in as I go, and hopefully I can get this channel up so that I can make more content. I really want to. Thank you all and have a really good night.